Yes, very good afternoon, students. Join the meeting fast. Actually, it is a little bit delayed. Sorry for that. Yes, so is the screen visible? That is the blank Jamboard. Is it visible? Yes, just do respond. Yes, you can
Yes,
respond. Okay, thank you. So we are going to have discussion on memory interfacing. Okay, already we have discussed what is memory interfacing, and this concept is clear with nobody because I have seen your answer booklets and just 1 minute with it. Yes, so memory interfacing, what is that? It is nothing but connecting the memory. In simple words, connecting the memory device, that is either RAM or ROM or both, RAM or ROM, only primary memory, not secondary memory connecting we are talking about here. So connecting the memory, RAM or ROM, to the microprocessor. That diagram you have to make and generate suitable map and generating suitable map. Suitable map. Now, what is the meaning of suitable map? What is the map? Map here is nothing but the starting address. The memory should be continuous. You can't have a memory which is having one location defined and there is a gap. The memory locations should be continuous. Some sound is coming in that. Okay. So the memory location should be continuous. That is, you can't have a memory which is having gap in between. Like if we are having a starting address and ending address, between there should be all the memory locations should be available for us. Okay. So we have to design the memory in such a way and we have to give a starting address and an ending address. That is meaning of mapping the memory. Ending address. Starting address and ending address you need to generate, and from starting to ending address there should not be any gap, whether in the RAM or in the ROM. Okay, so that is the purpose of memory addressing. So you have to uh, decide the address, what are the connections that you have to draw, and finally starting and ending address that you have to show. That is the purpose of memory addressing. Okay, now how we are going to connect the memory to our processor. So I am just drawing the relevant pins which are required. Let's say here we are bothered about 8086. So I am regarding 8051, it is actually easy. I will come to that later. Let us consider the 8086 microprocessor. And let's say we are going to connect a memory. I am not talking about which memory it is. Let it be RAM or ROM. Just let me call it as memory block. Memory block. Okay. Now, what are the pins which we require from the microprocessor side? That is important to be connected to the memory block. That only I am showing over here. So our 8086 has the address lines. How many address lines we have? We have A0 to A19. That is 20 address lines we have got. And though we have multiplex data lines, that is, there is no separate data line, we have address and data common, but I am not going into that. I am drawing the data bus separately over here. So how many data buses we have? We have 16 data buses, that is D0 to D15. Out of D0 to D15, A0, A15 are actually multiplexed with that, but I am not drawing that. I'm separately drawing it out. Separately drawing it out. Okay. Apart from that, you have the control pins. What are the control pins of 8086? We have pins called read bar, that is read line, which is active low. Then we have the write line, that is write bar, and another control pin we have. Yes, still assignments are coming in here. Yeah. Next, what we have, another line which decides whether we are connecting an IO device or a memory device. That is decided by one pin, which is called IOM. For 8085, it is called IOM bar, but for 8086, it is called as IO bar M. That means if the signal is low, we are doing IO operation. If the signal is high, we are doing memory operation. Here are the any question? Please, if you don't have any question, don't turn on the mic. If you have question, you can turn on the mic. Okay. Otherwise, it will create disturbance, and when you see the recording, you will yourself be irritated by it. Okay, so please try to cooperate. So we have the address lines, we have the data lines of the processor, we have the control lines of the processor. Okay, so these are the lines which we are interested. Apart from that, another line we have which will be of interest to you, that is called the BHE line, BHE bar. So I am not drawing all the pins of 8086 and also not drawing them in order. I'm just drawing the pins which will be required for interfacing with the memory block. Okay, another line which we will be of interest is BHE bar, that is bus high enable. Okay, this signal will become low when you are using the higher order higher order data bus. Okay, so that time BHE signal will be low. Now, in the memory block, what are the pins that we need to connect here? That also is of importance to us. First thing is there will be address lines. There will be address lines over here, so which we need to connect. Now, I am writing over here as A0 to AM because 8086 we know it has 20 address lines, but the address lines which are for the memory block is depends on the what is the capacity of the memory. So I am not writing here a final, what A0 will be there, but what will be the final memory, that will depend on the capacity of memory. So I am not drawing that. I am just writing AN. Okay, so address lines will be there. Similarly, there will be data lines D0 to, and here it is fixed. Just understand the memory which is available in the market will have 8 data lines only. That is, each location will be having 8 bits. That is 1 byte. Each location will be of 1 byte. So definitely we can write it as D0 to D8. There are some memory locations which are available which are of itself 16 bit or 2 bytes, but most of them, most commonly available memory chips are having each register of size 8 bit. Okay, that is 1 byte memory location. So I am definitely writing it as D0 to D8. That is the data bus we have, and the address bus depends on how many locations you have. That I will come later. So I'm writing it over here as A0 to AN. Apart from that, in the memory block, you will have one important line which is called chip select, CS bar. So what is the purpose of the chip select? That is nothing but when there may be multiple memory blocks which you are using to interface. To select a particular memory block, you require the chip select to be enabled. Okay, if this chip select is not enabled and it is mostly active low signal, so if it is not low, this memory block will not be active. Apart from that, there will be control lines. Okay, control lines, if it is, please note this, if it is a ROM, there can be two control lines over here. One is called read bar, one is called write bar. Okay, generally it is called as data enable line or OE line. Data enable or just enable line, it is sometimes marked as OE bar. Okay. Better I write it like this. Then it will be better. Let us understand. Read bar and write bar is better. So if it is a RAM chip, then it will have both these lines, read and write bar. Okay, only for RAM. If it is a ROM chip, it will have only one. Okay, that is called the generally called data enable line, and from that we connect only the read bar. Okay, if it is ROM chip, you know we can't write on it, so there will be no meaning if we connect the write control signal there. So if ROM, so write will not be there. So I'm writing it over here as absent in ROM. Okay, so these are the signals one memory chip will be having. All these pins we need to interface with the pins which you see in the processor. Okay, in the processor there will be many ICs. When you draw the interfacing diagram, you have to bother about the data pins, address pins, read, write, IO bar M, and VH. These are the pins you need to draw when you are drawing an interfacing diagram. Okay, and in the memory block, you need to be concerned with the data pins, chip select pin, control pins read write in case of RAM, and only control pin read bar in case of ROM. So these are the pins which you need to draw when you are drawing an interfacing diagram. Okay, now let us come into how we are going to draw the interfacing diagram. Okay, so let us understand that. So let us go with a question. It will be better. Let me share the question which I have. You have got in your second internal, and most of you have just blindly written it without any meaning. Anyway, I have given marks to all of you. So just let us go to that part. So this is the question. Is it visible? Is the question visible?
No, sir. It's in the Jamboard.
Okay,
Empty
okay. Then it
Jamboard.
is yeah, yeah, very good. So later I will be coming into the Jamboard again. So first let me share the question. It is in the book itself. So I'm sharing a page of the book. This question I have shared with you, most of you. So here you can see the question which I have given. Just try to understand the question. What it says is interface to 4K 8 4K into 8 EPROMs and two 4K into 8 4K into 8 RAM. Okay, so here just understand ROM and RAM is given. EPROM, whether it is written as EPROM, whether it is written as ROM, whether it is written as PROM. You have to consider the concept of ROM only. We are not bothered whether it is erasable, whether it is electrically erasable. For all of them, memory interfacing remains the same. So just consider this as ROM. Okay, and we have another RAM. Now, what is the meaning of writing in this fashion? 4K into 8. Just please understand this. Let me once again go into the Jamboard. What is the meaning of writing in this fashion? 4K into 8. This is the nomenclature which is followed. Just understand the first part. This part represents number of memory locations. First part represents the number of memory locations, and the second part represents number of bits in a memory location, in a particular location. Better write it like that. In one particular location. In one particular location. Okay. So number of memory locations is decided by the first quantity, and the second quantity decides how many bits are there in that particular location. Okay, so most of the memory locations you will find the second number is always E. Okay, because that is available in the market. So each location will have 8 bits or 1 byte. Okay, that is one register. Each location will have 1 byte. Now, what is the meaning of number of memory locations? Number of memory locations means how many such registers are there in the memory. So better to say this 8 determines how many data bus will be there, how many data lines. So data lines will be 8, most of them. That means we can connect only D0 to D7. Okay, and the rest of it, this one decides how many address lines. Just address lines is not given directly, it is given in a decoded format. 4K means 4 into 1K, 4 into 1024. 1K is 1024. That is to say 4 into 1024. Now we will represent this in the power of 2. So 4 can be represented as 2 power 2 and 1024 can be represented as 2 power 10. So that means 2 power 12. So this power represents how many address lines. How many address lines can be connected to the memory device? That is decided by the power of 2, which is for the first quantity. Okay, so that means we have to connect 12 address lines, and we have how many? We have 19 address line, 20 address lines. So we are going to connect A0 to A12. That means A0 to A11. We are going to connect because we need 12 address lines. Okay, now rest of it. What is going to happen to the rest of it? Rest of it means how many address lines are left for us? A12 to A19. So all these are going to be connected in some way or the other to the chip select. Okay, to the chip select. As in the previous diagram, I have shown you over here. The data lines are as it is connected. You can see D0 to D15, D0 to there also a concept of odd bank and even bank is there. I'm coming to that. So we are going to connect 7 address lines, 8 address lines actually, to the address lines over here, D0 to D8. And what is going to happen, D0 to D7, what is going to happen to D8 to D15? I'm coming to that. Okay. And A0 to A19, out of that, we are going to use A0 to A11 for generating the address, and rest of it, that is A12 to A19, we are going to use for the chip select logic. Along with this signal, bus high enable. Okay, and also we are going to take the help of A0. Why A0? That also I am coming. Okay, so let us talk about it. Now, again, let us go to the question. So I hope you have understood how we, let's say one memory chip is there, whether it is RAM or ROM, that only difference is one will have the read bar signal, one will not have the read bar signal. Okay, so let us come into that. And one more thing of importance is there. Let us, how do we connect the IO M bar? IO bar M, just understand that. How the IO, we have 3 pins. Let us come to the smaller topic first, that is IO M bar. IO bar M, that is IO bar M, and we have another signal from the microprocessor, that is read bar, and another signal from the microprocessor, that is write bar. Okay, now we want 2 signals only. If it is a RAM, we have to connect 2 pins, one read bar, one write bar, but we have 3 signals. Now how do we make combination? Just understand, when we want to, because it is an IO device, so what we have, these 2 going into through a AND gate. Okay, if we connect the IO M bar and read bar together through an OR gate, through an AND gate, so we want that when both the inputs are 0, then only it should be 0. But for AND gate, that is not happening. So let us use an OR gate. You can use any gate of your choice according to as the output is correct. Let us connect one OR gate. Okay. Now we want the memory read signal. IO read signal, that is given as IOR bar. Okay, that should be connected to the RD signal of the RAM. So when we are doing an input output operation, this signal should become 0 and read is also 0. Then only it is going to turn 0. Any other combination, if read signal is 1 or the memory, this IO bar M signal is 1, then this is going to be 1. Okay, because it is an OR gate. So both the inputs has to be 0 to turn this signal on, and that will be connected to the read signal of the RAM or ROM. Okay, this is valid for RAM and ROM both, the read signal. Is it making sense? This is how we generate the IO read signal. So IO bar M and read bar together should be connected through an OR gate. We use the term appropriate gate. Here it will be OR gate because we want when both are 0, it should be 0. Similarly, to generate the write signal, what we require is another OR gate. So one signal is coming from here. You are connecting it here and the write signal. The generated signal is called IOWR bar. That is connected to the RAM. So RAM will have both this, but ROM will have only this one. Okay, so only when IO bar M is 0 and write bar is 0, then only this is going to turn on. Any one of them is 1, it is not going to turn on. So this is going to select the control signals of the RAM, which I have shown over here. So these two are going to be selected like this using these three of the processor. Okay. So this part is understood. Now let us come to the address and data part and the BHC. Let us come to the question once again so that you understand the concept of data banks. Yes. 1 minute. Let me share once again. Yes, you can see the book now. Is it visible? So the question says interface two 4K into 8 EPROMs and two 4K into 8 RAM chips with 8086. Okay. So here the diagram is there. Still, I will be coming to this entire big diagram once I have done with the small descriptions which I need to make. Okay. So we have 4 ICs, each of 4K size. Okay, just understand we have 4 ICs, 2 ROMs and 2 4K ROMs and 2 4K RAMs. 4K means 2 4K means how much is total? 8K of ROM we have and 8K of RAM we have. And what is this 8 represent? That represents that each location will have 1 byte, that is 8 bits. Okay, so we have 4 chips in total, each having 4K. Out of that, 8K will be ROM and 8K will be RAM. So that has been shown in this diagram also. You can see over here. I am coming to this diagram later. You can see over here, 4 ICs has been shown. These are the memory components. Okay. 2 ROMs, each of 4K, and 2 RAMs, each of 4K. Okay. Now, let us come into the concept of odd and even. If it has been an 8085, we don't require the concept of odd and even. But here, just let me come to this. Here we have each location. Let's say, let me draw 4 of them. Let me draw 2 first. Let us consider the ROM part first. Okay. Now, What is the meaning of odd and even? We have not 8-bit but 16-bit data bus. So 16-bit data bus means we are connecting two of them parallelly. That means D0 to D7 will be the, again there is a timing limitation. So please, once the meeting is shut down by automatic way, please rejoin. Okay, I want to complete this concept today itself. It would have been better if I have performed this in class, but I can't do that. So anyway, once this meeting gets over, please do join in again. Okay, so D0 to D7 and D8 to D15, we connect them parallelly so that we get an entire 16-bit data. So address are arranged in this fashion. Just understand it. Let's say we have the total addresses like this. So how the addresses are made? We have 25-bit address, 20-bit addresses. So it can be represented by, this is the odd address, first odd address. Okay, first odd address comes in the first IC, first chip. This is called the odd bank. Why it is called odd bank? Because all the addresses in here will be odd. The next 8-bit location will be, sorry, this is called the even address. Sorry for that. The first one is called the even address, even bank, and 00001. You can see the number is odd itself, so it is odd bank. So two consecutive locations, 16 bits, D0 to D7 is called the odd address, D8 to D15 is called the even address. So what is going to be the next address? It is going to be from the even bank. So next address is 00002. The next address is going to be 00003. So you can see all the even odd addresses are coming from D8 to D15. All the even addresses are coming from D0 to D7. So accordingly, we have, as in the question you can see, we have two 4K EPROMs. So all the EPROMs, the two 4K EPROMs will be arranged in parallel fashion so that alternate addresses are odd and alternate addresses are even, and we get the total complete 16-bit address. That is the idea over here for odd and even addresses. Is it making sense? Anybody? This is a very important concept. Is it making sense how the memory is actually arranged?
Yes, sir.
So this is the concept of odd bank and even bank. And just understand this, that it is depending on the last bit. This is actually, this 001 is actually represented by 20 digits. That is 0000000000000001. So this one you can see over here, when it is an odd address, this is the address of A0 to A19. Okay, now every time the address is odd, A0 bit will be 1. Every time the address is even, A0 bit will be 0. So the A0 bit decides whether we are taking one bit from the odd bank or even bank. So actually, when we decide for the memory mapping, A0 should be connected for deciding which bank we are using. Okay. Now let us consider the other concept, that is when we are taking the data from the odd bank. You can see odd bank, the higher order data bus is actually activated. When we are taking the data from odd bank, what are the things happening? The A0 bit should be 1 and the higher order data bus is activated. So whenever odd bank is utilized, actually the BHE signal, that is bus high enable, that is also activated. That is, this signal turns low. So these are the indicators. If A0 is 1, we are taking data from odd bank. If A0 is 0, then we are taking data from even bank. And similarly, if BHE signal is low, then data is being collected from the uh, the higher order data bus is active. If BHE signal is 1, then lower order address bus is active. Okay, this is how the concept goes. Okay, now let us consider let us come to the actual diagram. Most of the concepts I think is clear. A lot of things are there. I will try to complete whatever is possible. Yes, is the screen visible? Is it visible? Please do respond. Is this
Yes,
diagram
sir.
visible? Yeah, very good. Now, just understand this. How many bits we have in total for address? Let us consider the address first, and data was also already you can see over here. D0 to D7 is selecting the even data bus, and D8 to D15 is the odd data bus. This is the ROM, this is the RAM. So they are connected, kept parallel. Now let us consider about the address bus. Okay, now we have how many locations? We have 4K locations. Each memory is having 4K. Each of the memory block is having 4K. 4K means 4 into 1024. That means we require 2 to the power 2 into 2 to the power 10. That means 12 address lines. 12 address lines means we require A0 to A0 to A11. But what is done over here, just understand, because A0 decides which bank we are using. So we are keeping A0 separate. We require only 11 lines. So if we take A0 to A11, that is also fine. If we take A1 to A12, that is also fine. Okay, so here the A0 is kept separate. You can see over here, and A1 to A11 of the address bus, this number which is written over here, that is of the address bus of 8086. And A0 to A11 is the A0 to A11 of the IC, that is the ROM chip. So A1 to A12 of the 8086 has been connected to A0 to A11 of the ICs respectively. So they will be selecting your which which address of the particular ROM we are selecting. Okay, now let us come to the next part over here. The class will be disconnected very soon, but please do reconnect, and any question you have, please do join and ask me once. Okay. Yes. Now, let us come to the rest of the part. So what are the pins which are remaining if we take into account up to A12? Up to A12, if we take into account, we are left with A13 to A19. Out of that, A13 is also taken. A13 will be the pin which will decide whether we are using a RAM or the ROM. Okay, so if A13 is going to be 0, if A13 is 1, we will be working with the ROM. So A13 we are taking for deciding whether we are using the ROM ICs or the RAM ICs. So A13 1 will be using the ROM ICs. A13 11, A13 0 is going to detect the RAM ICs. So what is left for us is A14 to A19. So A14 to A19 will be using to find out the chip select logic. Okay, so what has been done over here, just understand this. I see. Here, just see over here, A14 to A19, these pins which are remaining from after using the address buses which we require, they have been used to enable a decoder. Okay, you can see all of them are connected together so that this is a NAND gate. So when all of them are 1, we will make all of them as 1. When all of them are 1, so NAND gate works in such a way that when all the inputs are 1, output is 0. So we use